You can't buy happiness, but you can buy a motorcycle. And that's basically the same thing.
It's a stacked field, and we're bound to leave a few candidates out, but in this guide we'll highlight our picks for the top 5 middleweight adventure bikes of 2022. Number 1, Aprilia Touareg 660. So hot is the middleweight adventure bike market that Aprilia is entering the fold with its Touareg 660. With a 660 cubic centimeters parallel twin engine derived from the company's RSV4 sport bike, with half the cylinders, the engine clearly has its roots in performance. It's also the same engine Aprilia uses in the RS660 and Tuono 660. Unlike those aforementioned models, the Touareg uses a trellis frame instead of a beam frame. Long travel suspension to the tune of 9.4 inches helps the Touareg clear obstacles, and the 21/18-inch wheel combo gives the Aprilia lots of tire options to suit the kind of off-road/on-road riding you might find yourself doing. Even though Aprilia may not have as vast a portfolio of off-road bikes as some other manufacturers on this list, the Italians made the bike comfortable while traveling the route less traveled. The bars are high, but not too high, and the tank is sculpted just right so the rider can stand and still feel comfortable hustling. Aprilia's Performance Ride Control, APRC, which is used on practically every new Aprilia, is the company's electronic aid suite. There are 4 ride modes and adjustable traction control, wheelie control, engine braking, and importantly, ABS. Some of these functions, however, are tied to the different ride modes. Still, these functions should help relieve some of the stress of getting through the dirt. All in all, the Touareg 660 has all the right components for a capable middleweight adventure bike, and its rally-esque styling sure looks the part, too. Number 2, KTM 890 Adventure R. KTM made its name in the off-road world, so it only makes sense the 890 Adventure R leans heavily toward dominating when the pavement turns to dirt. Power comes from an 889 cubic centimeters parallel twin, which replaces the engine from the 790 Adventure series. KTM says this engine is the most compact performance engine on the market. It might be right, too. Rated at 77 kilowatts, or roughly 103 horsepower, that's a very impressive number for that size of the engine. Obviously, adventure riders know power is only one small part of the puzzle. The frame that harnesses it must also be up to the task, and the 890 Adventure R's orange steel trellis frame most certainly is, developed to be light yet strong, and able to tackle both touring and off-road duty. It incorporates the engine as a stressed member. The swing arm, too, has been optimized for strength and flex so the rider knows what's going on underneath them. WP long travel suspension at both ends takes up all the unrelenting jolts off-road riding brings, which makes for a slightly sporty on-road ride, though with a company mantra of ready to race that shouldn't be much of a surprise. A 21-inch front, 18-inch rear wheel combo gives you a ton of tire options depending on how aggressive you want to be. While a bit unconventional, the unique Loslung 5.3-gallon fuel tank may look a little odd, but it keeps the weight low for good handling while also keeping the traditional tank area narrow for rider comfort. It's a clever design that works really well. All this, and we haven't even begun to talk about the KTM's electronics. There are many. Numerous rider modes, including a dedicated off-road mode, traction control, cornering ABS, off-road ABS, rally mode, and even Bluetooth connectivity to your phone with KTM's My Ride function. If you're looking for the best of the best in the middleweight adventure bike category, you may be able to stop your search right here with the 890 Adventure R. Number 3, Ducati Desert X. So hot is the middleweight adventure bike market that there's not just one Italian manufacturer on this list, but 2. The Ducati Desert X is arguably the most dirt-focused machine the company has produced since the Cagiva Elephant. Unlike the Multistrada Enduro models, which are basically sport touring bikes modified to go off-road, the Desert X was designed and built with off-road riding in mind from the start. You'll find a steel trellis frame and long travel suspension at both ends. The front offers 9.1 inches, the rear 8.7 inches, the total ground clearance is 9.8 inches. To go along with the generous clearance, wheels measure 21 inches in front and 18 inches at the back, just like the Aprilia listed at the top of this list. Again, this gives the rider plenty of tire options. Power comes from a 937 cubic centimeters V-twin that Ducati uses in several other models. Some might think the engine size seems big for a middleweight, but its 110 horsepower should prove to be very manageable for the middleweight category. Other components include Brembo brakes and Ducati's suite of electronic rider aids that take advantage of a 6-axis IMU. Rider aids include 6 different riding modes, including 2 dedicated off-road modes that allow you to have some fun without getting completely out of line. Other aids include traction control, engine brake control, wheelie control, and cornering ABS that can modulate the braking force to prevent wheel lockup even when you're leaned over, a godsend when you're on the pavement. Number 4 Triumph Tiger 900 Rally Pro. Sitting at the top of Triumph's Tiger 900 ladder, the Rally Pro shares the 888 cubic centimeters 3-cylinder like the rest of the line. Triumph says it makes 94 horsepower and 64 lb-ft of torque. But what you can't list on a spec chart is how cool the engine sounds and how inspiring its quick revving nature is. Otherwise, things you can expect from the Rally Pro are IMU-dependent traction control and cornering ABS, 6 ride modes, a quickshifter, and a 7-inch TFT display with Bluetooth connectivity. Adventure-related goods include Showa suspension front and rear. The 45mm inverted cartridge fork is adjustable and provides 9.4 inches of travel. In the rear, the RSU gas pressurized shock is also adjustable, with travel set at 9.05 inches. Spoked, tubeless wheels make tire swaps and tire repairs easier, and speaking of tires, Pirelli's Scorpion Rally tires have a clear off-road bias, suiting the Rally Pro's dirt intentions. Number 5 Yamaha Tenere 700. Very few motorcycles have been through the hype machine as much as Yamaha's Tenere 700. Yamaha's been teasing this bike for years, and though very few people have ridden it, outside of journalists, we're including it here because the hype around it is so strong. There's a good reason for the hype. Yamaha's 689 cubic centimeters parallel twin, first seen in the FZ/MT-07, is a fun engine, offering lots of fun, usable power. Its playful nature makes it well suited for a middleweight adventure bike, but it seems as though Yamaha hasn't gone the route of street-biased ADV. Instead, the Tenere 700 leans hard towards being a dirt-focused adventure bike with minimal street accoutrements. The narrow body, slim tank, and flat seat were designed to make it easy to grip the bike with your knees while standing, while the 21-inch/18-inch front/rear wire spoke wheel combo gives you plenty of options for aggressive tires. A 43mm inverted fork is fully adjustable and offers 8.3 inches of travel. The shock only gets preload adjusting and 7.9 inches of travel, but that should be plenty to have a lot of fun. Other than switchable ABS, the Tenere represents off-road adventure riding in 2022 in a form that's about as analog as you can get these days. Its starting price of $9,999 is the lowest in this field, too. With that in mind, the idea of pure adventure motorcycling, a middleweight engine displacement, minimal electronic rider aids, Yamaha durability, and the least expensive price is awfully appealing. As you can see, the middleweight adventure motorcycle market is not short for choices, as all 5 of these models bring something exciting to the table. Whether you want the thinly disguised dirt bike that is the KTM or prefer the more road-oriented Aprilia, all 5 bikes here are well equipped to handle on-road and off-road duties. So plan that long trip you've been dying to tackle. There's no better time than now to give it a shot.